Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for today, Wednesday, March 27th. If you're joining me for the very first time, this is how today's video will be structured. We'll be going over a recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they ultimately ended up turning out. Then after that, we'll get over to the injuries in play for tonight's games. And then after that, we'll get moved over to the core picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today. So that's going to be one player at each position. So point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. But without further ado, we'll get started with that recap of yesterday's picks. I ultimately did not end up playing on yesterday's slate, just with everything else going on. Didn't have that update, of course, so I do apologize for that. But with that being said, some of these are going to be my calculations. So if they are slightly off point-wise, that would be why. But at point guard, we had D'Angelo Russell, $7,200, looking for 36. I got to 63.75, so he was a really good hit on yesterday's slate. Shooting guard was Patty Mills, $3,500 in the starting lineup. Was looking for 17, 18 out of him. Unfortunately, only got to 3 yesterday, which is a very, very low number. He was a miss. Only played 18 minutes in that game, 1 for 5 shooting from the field. Then Jimmy Butler didn't end up playing yesterday, didn't get a chance to update that in the course, so he was a mess. But that news did come out relatively early, so hopefully you were able to pivot off of him pretty easily to someone else that did have some significant upside. And then at power forward, we had Keegan Murray at $5,800, looking for at least 29 out. Got 24.75. He's a mess, just mainly scoring once again yesterday. So didn't contribute too much in rebounds and defensive stats. I think he had like 1 steal, a couple of rebounds, and like 1 assist, but nothing major there. Kind of unfortunate though, once again, him and his brother have kind of been the curse of us as of late. And then at center, we got Anthony Davis, $10,300, looking for at least 52 out. We got to 78.75, so he was a really good hit on yesterday's slate. So when you look at it in totality, it doesn't look that great, but if you had a decent replacement for Jimmy Butler, you still had a chance of cashing on yesterday's slate. Then on the FanDuel side, we had D'Angelo Russell. He had $7,500, looking for at least 38 out of him. He got to 60.4, so he was a hit over there as well. And then at shooting guard, we went with Malik Beasley, $4,900, looking for at least 25 out of him. Got to 31.1, so he was a hit. At small forward, we went with Rui Hachimura, $5,400, looking for at least 27 out of him. Got to 33.3, so he was also a hit. And then the one lone miss on the FanDuel side, Keegan Murray, $6,400, looking for at least 32 out. Got to 24.1, so he did ultimately end up being a miss. He was mainly scoring dependent once again. And then last but not least, at center, we had Anthony Davis, $11,500, looking for at least 58 out. Got to 78.6, so he was a really good hit on FanDuel as well. So 4 out of 5 on terms of the hits on FanDuel yesterday. Pretty strong slate for FanDuel, for being honest. If you had some other good plays alongside it, you probably did pretty well overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to RotoWire and talk about these injuries in play for tonight's slate overall. So for the main slates on both sites tonight is the first 10 games of the night. There are 2 games that are happening after those games as well. So we only have 3 teams on the back-to-back today. It's going to be the Golden State Warriors, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. We're going to start off with the Golden State Warriors. They're on their back-to-back, so we'll just see what their injury report looks like as the day moves along. And then on the Orlando Magic side, we got Gary Harris and Caleb Houston. Both listed as questionable to play. Nothing too crazy here. Obviously, Gary Harris could open up some minutes, but other than that, not too concerned about either one of these guys. For the Brooklyn Nets, we got Keta Bates-Diop, Cam Johnson, and Dennis Smith Jr. all out once again. And then Cam Thomas listed as questionable to play due to a back injury that did cause him to be kind of a late scratch in their most recent game. On the Washington Wizards side, we got Jones, Imari, and Shamet all out once again. So no real changes there. Denny Advia did get scratched late last time out. I think Kuzma missed their last game as well. So getting a little bit healthier at this point in time. Then we move over to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Ty Jerome, Donovan Mitchell, Dean Wade, all out once again. And then Max Strus has been upgraded to questionable, so we'll see whether or not he'll ultimately be able to go tonight or not. He's been out for a little while, I believe, with a foot injury. And then on the Charlotte Hornets side, we got LaMelo Ball, Seth Curry, Cody Martin, and Mark Williams all out once again, so no real changes to be had there. Then we move down to the Portland Trailblazers. Malcolm Brogdon, Shane Sharp, and Anthony Simons all out for tonight's game. We got Jeremy Grant listed as doubtful once again with his hamstring injury. Matisse Thybulle listed as questionable once again with his ankle injury. And DeAndre Ayton listed as questionable due to his elbow injury. So we'll see if any of those 3 players ultimately end up playing tonight. I would not bet on it at this point in time. So pretty much going to see what we saw out of Portland in their most recent game. And then on the Atlanta Hawks side, we got Kobe Buffkin, AJ Griffin, Gaye, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, and Trae Young all out for tonight's game. And then DeJounte Murray is listed as questionable for tonight's game as well with a back injury. We'll see ultimately whether or not he plays or not. Obviously, if he doesn't, it's going to open up some pretty significant value on this Atlanta Hawks team overall. And then we move over to the Clippers, who are all the way healthy now at this point in time, since we did see the return of Russell Westbrook in their most recent game. On the Philadelphia 76ers side, we got Robert Covington, Joel Embiid, DeAnthony Melton all out once again, and then Kelly Oubre Jr. listed as questionable play for tonight's game overall. We move down to the New York Knicks. We got OG Anunoby, Julius Randle, Mitchell Robinson all out once again. And then Alec Burks listed as questionable due to a shoulder injury. I do believe he missed their most recent game. On the Raptors side, we got Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, Chris Boucher, DJ Carton, Jakob Poeltl, Jonte Porter, and Emmanuel Quickley all out once again. So no real changes to be had there. Then we move over to the Pacers. TJ McConnell and Aaron Nesmith, both questionable to play tonight. Nesmith did miss their most recent game, and we did see Ben Shepherd start in his place, so that could be a potential value piece there for tonight's slate overall. Although, this is one of the later starting games for the main slate, so maybe we don't have that news until closer to the lock of that game, which will be a little bit unfortunate. And then on the Bulls side, Julian Phillips is out, and Alex Caruso listed as questionable due to his ankle injury once again tonight. For the Detroit Pistons, Simone Fontecchio, Taj Gibson, and Quentin Grimes all out once again. Cade Cunningham listed as questionable due to that knee injury management, and then Jalen Duran listed as probable for tonight, so we should see his return overall. And then on the Minnesota Timberwolves side, we have Jalen Clark and Karl-Anthony Towns both out once again. And then we have Rudy Gobert listed as questionable due to his rib injury, and then Anthony Edwards questionable due to his finger injury. Moving down to the Houston Rockets, they are just without Alfred Sengun and Cam Whitmore once again. The Oklahoma City Thunder are on the back-to-back, so we'll see what their injury report looks like as the day moves along. We get over to Lakers, also on the back-to-back. We'll see what their injury report looks like as the day moves along. Obviously, we did see LeBron James sit out last night's game. Is there a chance that Anthony Davis does sit out tonight? Could very much be the case tonight versus the Memphis Grizzlies. And in that case, we're probably looking at Jackson Hayes starting and looking like a decent option at that. And then we move over to the Memphis Grizzlies side. Luke Kennard, Derrick Rose, Marcus Smart, Yuta Watanabe, Zaire Williams all out once again. John Conchar and Vince Williams both listed as doubtful. And Brandon Clark's listed as questionable for tonight. So he's coming off that Achilles injury, that Achilles surgery. Could potentially play in tonight's game if he does play. Don't expect him to make a major impact and probably seeing, not very significant minutes at that. But good to see him trending in the right direction. And then the last two games of the night are not on the main slate. We have the San Antonio Spurs. Keldon Johnson and Victor Wembanyama both listed as questionable for tonight's game overall. Victor did ultimately end up missing their most recent game. And then on the Utah Jazz side, we got Jordan Clarkson, Chris Dunn both out for tonight. And then Lauri Markkanen is listed as questionable to play. We move down to the Phoenix Suns, who are without Damon Lee once again, and then Joseph Nurkic and Bradley Beal both listed as questionable to play for tonight's game overall. Obviously, if you're playing some type of late slate, some type of single game slate, that news is going to be pretty important to you. And then on the Denver Nuggets side, we have Kankar and Zeke Naji both listed as out. And then Aaron Gordon, Jamal Murray both listed as questionable. And then I believe Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic both listed as probable to play for tonight overall. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown on all the injuries in play for all 12 games for tonight overall. Obviously, only 10 games on the main slate, but covering all the teams at the same time as well. And then with that being said, if there's any injury updates that do come out throughout the day, I will be posting them down in the comments. We do have baseball practice a little bit earlier today, so I will try to get that updated core out probably about a half hour prior to lock, and then any other starting lineups as they do come out throughout the night. So hopefully you can get to that tonight. If not, I do apologize for that once again. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my core picks over there. So we're going to start off at the point guard position with Scoot Henderson, $6,100. We're looking for at least 31 out of him. Goes against the Atlanta Hawks tonight. Should be a really favorable matchup. He's played significant minutes more times than not as of late and has some pretty decent upside at that. Obviously, going against the Hawks, you would like a guy that is a little bit better at shooting threes. Scoot Henderson is not quite that, but he's a guy that still should be kind of able to do whatever he wants against this porous Hawks defense. And then, if DeJounte Murray doesn't play, it looks even better for him tonight overall. Then at shooting guard, we're going to go with Javon Freeman Liberty, which is quite the name, just having the Freeman and Liberty, kind of free Liberty all together. That's kind of a story for a different day, though. But $4,100, looking for 21 out of him. Should probably be in that starting lineup once again. They're kind of seeing what they have in him, whether or not he's a guy they want to bring back for next year's team, even though he might not have a major role at that point in time, but still seeing what this young kid can do. So I do like his upside quite a bit tonight. Goes against the Knicks. Not the greatest matchup in the world, but, if he's out there, if he's playing the minutes, if he's getting 28, 29 minutes, could easily outperform this price tag. Currently have him projected for about 22 points tonight. And I don't think I mentioned with Scoot Henderson, probably have him projected about 33, 34, but definitely does have some strong upside for more against the Atlanta Hawks as well. Then at small forward, we're going right back to one of the Murray brothers, unfortunately. We got Chris Murray here at $4,300, looking for 21, 22 out of him. Goes against the Atlanta Hawks tonight. Should be a favorable matchup. And, like I said, Scoot Henderson, not quite the shooter. Chris Murray, a little bit more of that three-point shooter, so should be a pretty good matchup for him overall. I like the upside he could present. Currently, I'm projected for 23. Offers some upside for more, but if his shot's not going down like the most recent game, then obviously we do have some downside for less at the same time. Then at power forward, we're going to go with Santi Aldama, who's been playing really well as of late, $6,400. Looking for at least 32 out of him. Currently have him projected for 33, 34 tonight. Goes against the Lakers. Should be an interesting matchup for him overall. Kind of depends on who's guarding him, whether, it's Rui Hachimura, whether it's LeBron James. Could open a lot of doors for him. I kind of think it's going to be Rui Hachimura, so should be a pretty favorable matchup for him just in general. And then last but not least, at the center position, we're going with Isaiah Hartenstein, just too cheap at this point in time. $5,700, looking for 28, 29 out of him. Currently have projected for 31 tonight. He's been up over 30, I believe, the last 4 or 5 games. So definitely a good value play. And his price tag just hasn't matched it as of late. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that do currently have listed, you have $23,400 remaining, $7,800 per player. So a decent amount of money left to spend over. Whether you want to pay up for a stud player, that's definitely something you can do on tonight's slate overall. Or if you want to do a little bit more balanced approach with the remaining amount of money, you can definitely do that as well. But with that being said, we'll get moving over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there. So at the point guard position, we're going Javon Freeman Liberty over here. So he's $4,200, looking for 21 out of him. Pretty much everything I said on DraftKings side still applies. Toronto Raptors aren't playing for much at this point in time. They're wanting to see what they got out of this young kid, whether or not he'll be a part of the team moving forward. Obviously, I don't expect too much from him next year, but I like the opportunity there. If the minutes are there, he's going to look pretty good overall. Currently, I have him projected for about 23, 24 fantasy points tonight. Then at shooting guard, we're going with his teammate Ochai Agbaji, former Kansas Jayhawks, so I still have a soft spot in my heart for him. He paid off for us the last time out. He's $200 more expensive tonight, so we're looking for at least 25 out of him. Currently got him projected for about 26 tonight. If he's getting those defensive stats, could look even better once again. Then at small forward, we're going with a different forward for the Portland Trailblazers. We got Toumani Camara at $5,000. He is a guy that is a little bit interesting, looking for at least 25 fantasy points out of him when he's gotten the minutes. He's played good enough to get to this price tag overall. Not a lot of guys that truly stood out to me at that small forward position on FanDuel overall today. Do like him quite a bit. Currently have him projected for 26 fantasy points tonight. And then at power forward, we're going with Dorian Finney-Smith, $5,000. Favorable matchup tonight against the Washington Wizards. Should be healthy since he was in that starting lineup the last time out. Played significant minutes in that game. Do kind of expect that once again tonight. Looking for at least 25 out of him. Currently got him projected for 26 overall. Then last but not least, we're going to the center position with Miles Turner. $7,000, looking for at least 35 out of him. He's averaging about 33 so far on this season. Going against the Chicago Bulls tonight, it's a favorable matchup for him. It's one that he's dominated all the times that he's faced the Bulls this year. So like his upside once again. Currently I'm projected for 37, but does offer even more upside for more at the same time as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that do currently have listed here on the FanDuel side, you will have $33,800 remaining, just over $8,400 per player. So there's definitely some room and flexibility to pay up if that's something you want to do. Or if you want to go with a little bit more balanced approach, kind of around this price tag range, you can definitely do that as well. But with that being said, these are my core picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, March 27th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments below and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to note whether those questions are more FanDuel or DraftKings specific, just so I can best help you as quickly and efficiently as possible. And then with that being said, I'll be posting all the injury updates down in the comments below, as well as many starting lineups as I can get to tonight. And then, as always, I will have my updated core coming out probably about a half hour prior to lock, so definitely be on the lookout for that. That will be left as a pinned comment. If there's any other additional changes after that point in time, I will leave them as a reply to that pinned comment as well. But with that being said, if you are brand new to my channel, checking it out for the very first time, or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now, we have NBA DFS going on in terms of the core pick videos Monday through Friday. I think this will be the last week for NBA DFS, but if you have any other additional questions moving forward with it, feel free to reach out to me as well. I'm primarily going to focus on MLB DFS moving forward, which will be MLB DFS core pick videos Monday through Friday on the FanDuel side. And then we'll also be doing my weekly UFL DFS videos as well. So if you're interested in any of that, be sure to check those videos out as well. And then if you're kind of new to that, you're not quite sure about it, you have questions about it, feel free to drop those questions on those videos as well and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for BetUS, Parlay Play, and Prize Picks. If you are a brand new user to any one of those three sites, when you first sign up, you make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Parlay Play and Prize Picks, it's 100% match on your initial deposit up to $100. And then for BetUS, it is 125% match on your initial deposit up to $2,500. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. And then with that being said, if you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comments or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport. I'd be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in NBA DFS tonight.